Hey there, this is Dino, and I got something new for you. Recently, I had a customer ask me specifically about policy schema for Apigee. Now, we have policy schema, Google's documented policy schema a long time ago, but these schema are now out of date. They're not current, and they don't support the most recently added policy types. So right now we don't really have an official blessed set of XML schema for Apigee policy, the Apigee policy language. What I did was I produced some. Now this is not officially supported by Google. Really, its support is best effort by me and other Apigeeks. You can file issues here on the GitHub repo. But I think this may be helpful for people who want to do a more formal validation of the policies that they're configuring for Apigee before they run them through their CI/CD pipeline or as part of the CI/CD pipeline. So, what is a policy schema? So, a policy schema just describes what the policy, what elements you can include in a policy and in what order and all the attributes and so on. So, let's have a look at something like HMAC. The HMAC policy in Apigee, there's a description that there's documentation that'll describe, each one of these elements. But basically, this is a formal machine readable contract that describes what you can include in an HMAC policy. And all of this is defined in XSD. It uses XSD version 1.1. And that means you can programmatically validate the contents of your policy using this definition. And I've got policy definitions for all the policies that are supported by ApigeeX and Apigee Hybrid. Um, and, uh, and as well, so the schema is interesting enough. You're going to look at that and go, well, okay, it's a schema, it's a contract. What can I do with that? In order to use it, you need a validator tool. You need some tool that's going to read your policy definition in XML and also read the schema definition in XSD 1.1 and then validate the XML against that schema. So something that you could build yourself, I included a couple into this repo. One, a script built with Python, and one, a Java program. And they both do the same thing. They'll look at an XML file and then validate it against a particular schema. And I've got a README for those guys too. So here's the example validator in Python, and you can just run that thing. There's a simple one that just validates one policy, and then there's maybe a more elaborate example that validates an entire bundle. So you've got a path to your API proxy, or you've got a zip file with the API proxy bundle that you downloaded or exported, and you can run this tool and then validate the each of the individual policies within that bundle using the tool. And there's a similar tool for Java with a README. It basically does the same thing. If you prefer to use Java, then there you go. And of course, you can look at the source code. It's right in there. It's going to use this one uses Xerces, um, and there's some dependencies there you have to download before you use it, but it should be pretty simple. Okay, let me show you how it works. Let's flip over to terminal. So this is what your this is if you were to clone that repo or download the release, this is what you would see. Um, it's got all the schema. So inside the schema directory, you've got all those XSDs for the various policies. Um, and then the tools that allow you to use it. So let's just see into the Python directory. You need to follow the instructions for how to get this working. There's some dependencies in Python, so really you should be creating a virtual environment, then source the activate script, and then install the requirements. Really, there's just one. It's XML Schema, the XML Schema module. So pretty simple, pretty fast. But once you do that, then you should be able to do Python. Let's do validate the bundle, and we need to specify the source for the XSD. So XSD source, and in this distribution, it's in the schema directory, just up one. And then I also have to specify the bundle source, so that's a source. And for me, I'll specify for now an example that I was working on recently. So I got samples, I have Apigee. It's this thing that I was doing an example proxy that reads from the KVM. So we'll just specify that, and what it does is it looks into that what I'll call an exploded API proxy directory, finds the policies subdirectory, and then scans each policy. And you can see, all right, I found 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 policies, but here's an error. So I see an error in this particular one. This is a raise fault policy, and it's saying, hey, you got an unexpected child at this level. Really, you should only have a set child. So let's actually see where that is. In my editor, you can see it right here, and I have this stray element. I sort of facetious. I just put a random element in there. But the point is that validator tool is going to tell you what element is there that shouldn't be there, and you can go edit it, remove it, and check your strict compliance to the schema with that tool. So let me save that, go back into the terminal and run that same command again, and you'll see I fixed that. I removed the stray element, and so now the schema validates that policy document correctly, and all the policies in that bundle validate. Okay, let me show you the Java version as well. So we'll cd into the Java directory, and in this case, what we need to do is let's circle back to the README for the Java. I'll show you this. So I'll click in. There's some dependencies for this one too. You need to download them. It's a little bit complicated. You need some additional libraries, but the Maven POM file does not declare all the dependencies for the Xerces J implementation. So what this download script does is it actually downloads directly from Apache and unzips that. And Apache has been kind enough to produce a tar file that includes the Xerces library, but also all of the dependencies that we need in order to get the Java program to run. So let's do that. Let's download the dependencies, and you'll see it's extracting all of these jars. This is the Xerces implementation, and then the rest of these are dependencies that we need. So we've downloaded those. There's another script which I can use to build, and really it's just a wrapper on Java C. It's just compiling those things. Once I've done that, at this point I can run the program with Java. By the way, you need a recent version of Java. I'm currently using Java 24. I don't know. It'll probably run with 17, 21. I haven't tested all those, but probably it's not doing anything exotic. Okay, so let's run it, and I think we have to specify the class path. So let's do class path. It puts all the classes in out. And we also need the vendor directory, which is where all those jars have been put, all the Xerces jars. So that's my class path. And then I want the bundle policy validator is the class name. And same arguments as for the Python version. That is the schema source, which is up one. And then the source for the API proxy. In this case, I'm going to show you something a little bit different, a zipped bundle. So let's use that, and I have a zipped bundle with lots of policies in it, a pretty big one, but we'll run that. And basically it does the same thing. So this one, it will extract that zip into a temporary directory, and you can see I've got, I don't know, 30 or 40 policies there, and it looked at them all. There's JavaScript, there's raise fault, there's OAuth, assign message, service callout, extract variables, all of these. And this one is in good shape. All the policies validated successfully. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you today. It is a set of policy schema that you can apply in your validation, and then some example validation tools, a Python script and a Java program, that allow you to use these schema. You can write your own, of course. One footnote, maybe, if you want to write it in .NET. .NET does not natively support XML Schema Definition 1.1, which is required by these schema. So you're going to need something like Saxon HE, which is something you got to pay for. Also, I could not find a reasonable XSD 1.1 compliant validator for Node.js. And there was one that looked interesting, but it's basically just a JavaScript wrapper on Java. So, I didn't implement that either. But, Java, Python, both of those work very similarly, and either one of those is going to be something that you could use in your CI/CD pipeline. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know if you got any questions. Till next time, keep it digital.